So I just read The Infinite and the Divine by Rath, and it's absolutely brilliant. This book tells the story of a millennia-long feud between two fan-favorite Necrons, Trazyn the Infinite and Orokin the Divine. For those unfamiliar with these names, Trazyn the Infinite, also known as the Infinite Collector, is a Necron overlord from the Nihilak dynasty. And he's also the proud owner of Solemnus. Solemnus is a museum the size of a planet in which Trazyn stores and showcases his collection of, well, everything really. Space Marines, Orcs, Eldar, Custodians, Commander Creed, a clone of Fulgrim, a webway portal, multiple armies of most, if not all, factions, and the list goes on and on and on. Besides being a complete kleptomaniac, he's also a massive troll. To give you an idea of his antics, here's a letter he wrote to an Imperial Inquisitor after taking her task force captive and placing them in his museum. You may want to pause the video if you want to read it. You can probably imagine why Trazyn is such an amazing character, and Rath does a great job at portraying him. Then there's Orokin the Divine, master of past and future. Where Trazyn is obsessed with the past, Orokin is obsessed with the future. He can divine the future and has even figured out a way to time travel. In the book, Orokin has found an artifact, which he believes to be of great importance for the future of the Necron race. One little problem, however, is that it is in the possession of Trazyn. The millennia-long cat and mouse fight between them, featuring Necron politics, cameos of almost every faction, intergalactic prank wars, and so much more, is the story of this book. Now for all the things that I didn't like about the book. And now all the things that I did like about the book. First of all, this is Necrons done right. Some races are very difficult to write about because they are just so not human. Many writers then decide to either push them to the side into an antagonistic role, the story will then be told through the eyes of Imperial Guard, for example, or they will completely ignore the fact that they are writing about a different race by writing them as if they are humans. Mr. Rath, however, decided to fully embrace the weird nature of the Necrons and gave us by far the best Necron novel because of it. The action scenes are absurdly over the top because if you're literally immortal, you really couldn't care less if you die. Not to mention the absurd amount of punishment a Necron can take before he goes down. Necrons also don't age, so things like evolution and history are used as plot devices, which I found absolutely brilliant. The changes in nature and population on the planet were used to show time progression, and this wasn't just rad, it also allowed for some very funny and interesting events to happen during the book, which I won't spoil it for you here though. Next were the references and the cameos. For those familiar with 40k lore, there's an entire treasure trove of references in this book, and not only that, the author has somehow managed to let almost every faction have a significant cameo in the book. So no matter which faction you play, there's going to be a bit about the book that you'll love. Furthermore, the book has a surprising amount of depth for a comedy. Trazyn and Orokin also have some very serious conversations, which tell quite a lot about them and their relationship with each other. Don't be fooled though, the book remains a comedy, so don't expect some 100-page long sob story. The book also gives the reader a peek into Necron society and politics. There's even a Necron lawsuit happening in the book, which was hilarious but also very interesting for those interested in the Necron lore. But probably the best thing about the Infinite and the Divine is the dynamic between Trazyn and Orokin. For starters, they are both characterized very well and really have a unique feel to them, whether it is their mannerisms, opinions or actions. The huge contrast between them makes them a great comedic duo, and they really make this book work. Finally, I also want to say that if you're new to 40k or looking for a way to get into it, this book is a great place to start. All of the books that people usually recommend are very focused on the Imperium, whereas this book gives some love to the Xenos races of 40k. It's also a one-off, instead of a 50 book long series, so that's also a little plus. So all in all, this book obviously gets a solid 5 out of 5 Black Library stars, and I can guarantee you that this book will become a 40k classic in the years to come.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing and click ringing the bell to appease the great horned rat. For more lore content, please check my main channel and leave any book recommendations in the comments down below. I gotta get back to reading the next book.